there is this thing of being a musician. It's just like you just think, oh man, like people will just connect with this song and I'll just have a career. But that's not the case. Nobody cares unless somebody paid a bunch of money to like have you hear their stuff, you know? Welcome to Saint Aubin Central, everybody. Just turned the cameras on after bitching about our wives. Can't do that in front of the camera.
Old ball and chains.
Behind camera. Love our wives, but challenges happen.
Yeah.
Right?
And you find friends in low places.
And the lowest places. Okay, so I wanted to talk about this today. Saint Aubin 2.0 really started in March of last year. So we're about at the 1 year or past the 1 year mark. I learned a ton about marketing, from social media or getting streams, et cetera, et cetera. And the more I learned about it, the more I just found out it's like, oh, if you have a bunch of money, that's how you got following, because there is this. So I think I was kind of my ego and my artistic part of myself was a little hurt when I found out. Just learned about all the money that goes in, like Billie Eilish. It's like millions and millions of dollars were pumped into that, Matrix child to be a star, So one thing that I just kind of learned about that I was unfamiliar with, but I've kind of heard of, is buying onto tours. So I think I was very surprised, and maybe other people would be surprised, but there is a lot of people who buy onto tours. So whether it's like a bigger, so I think like a band that people buy, like Coheed and Cambria. People, I think my manager was talking about them. I want to say it was like to buy on half of their like their tour. It was like $40,000.
Whew.
So I could be wrong. Don't sue me, Coheed. But I was surprised to learn that buying onto tours is somewhat of a regular occurrence.
I feel dumb. I had no idea.
No idea, but like. So there's two parts of this. Like one, the artist side of me is just like, well, they didn't earn it because they just paid money. But then the like more realistic, rational, smart side of me is just like, oh, that's just another way to market yourself in front of other people, But I had no idea. I had no idea that people have paid, tens of thousands of dollars just to open up for touring.
Is that like, are those then put on by, by like production companies, those tours? Like,
yeah, I mean,
who
I
are you
think
paying? Is it the label?
You're paying the label or the band or the booking, whatever, you know? But I mean, essentially buying onto a tour, when you buy onto a tour, you're saying to the artist, hey, I can't move tickets, so here's some money. That's what buying onto a tour is, But it makes sense. Like, what's the difference of me buying onto a tour, spending $5,000 to open up for someone on tour, or to spend $5,000 to take out Instagram ads to get followers?
That's
like, what's the difference?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. One is just frowned upon.
Yeah.
Because it's like you didn't earn it. And it's just like, I just like the more I learn about the industry, I just don't know how often people quote unquote earn it.
I just assumed that tours were like how they happen in the movies. Like you're helping them backstage.
So I mean, yeah. So there's
and the band's like, you should come along with us.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you're pretty good,
yeah.
kid.
You're like, like you're by yourself doing like sound. You're the janitor
You're, like,
at a
playing on your
club.
lap.
You're a janitor at a club, and you just like cleaning up before the show, and you just kind of pick up the guitar, and then you just sing this old like gospel song, and then they come out, they're like, yes, you're what we need.
Our drummer just broke his foot.
Yeah,
Do you know how to play drums?
But it's like, so I think a lot of touring, so there is buying on. Also, it's booking agencies putting on other people from their agency or label. So there's a lot of like interbreeding. I don't know. That's not the word. Yikes. But like a lot of like, if a label, if the band Camino is going on tour and their label has somebody else that they're trying to get up that they'll throw that band on a tour. But yeah, dude, it's like, this is the thing I think that, and because I remember I talked to a friend about it, about touring and buying onto tours, and he knew some people, but he's like, I just don't think I don't think musicians respect other musicians who buy onto tours. And I'm just like, I part of me gets it. But the other part of me is just like, it's stupid. Like, what is the difference of buying onto a tour for $5,000 or $10,000 or putting $10,000 into a playlist campaign or an Instagram engagement
I was just about to say, like, I remember, looking down and talking down about people who bought onto playlists, who were like, oh, I'm going to spend some money and get on one of these high profile playlists on Spotify, and thinking, well, that's just cheap. And like, that's kind of cheating the system.
Yeah.
But the problem is, anybody that gets put in that situation, if they have the means to do so, why not do it?
It's marketing. It's all marketing. Like you're spending a bunch of money to market yourself in front of new people.
Yeah.
So whatever way you're going to do it, it's going to cost money.
Yeah. I think what I remember now, what was disingenuous was like the plays for like the hot 100 of the US and stuff like, it was like the top 100.
Like the thing that's disingenuous is like, I think there was, I thought I remember the story, but there was a rapper or something who paid for like bots to stream a song, but he was making like a crazy amount of money. Just for like, he would spend X amount of dollars and then he would make a bunch from the fake streams. Like that to me, like, inflating your stream numbers or like getting bots or whatever.
Right.
That's like I think that's super shitty and shady, which I've done. I like Lonely. Okay. I'll just throw it out there. Lonely has 13,000 streams. Saint Aubin's Lonely isn't Natty. We had a streaming party. I hired, myself and a Filipino. And just streamed it for like 3 days in a row. It's not real.
I can't believe you've done this.
Yeah, I know. You were there too. Like, yeah, you were there. Like, you were doing it with me. You were encouraging me. But yeah, it's just like, it's this, like, there's musicians they're just purists, and their head is so far up their ass that they're just like, my stuff matters. And money dilutes the art. And it's just like, I just don't think it does. Like, if I bought onto a tour, which I think I'll try to, if I can. Yeah. If I bought onto a tour, like, the plan isn't to buy onto every single tour. The hope and the goal is to buy onto a tour and play my songs, which I think are great, and put on a killer show to get new fans. And then maybe that band was just like, yo, you're actually really good. You want to come on another tour?
Yeah, sure.
Because the thing is, like, talent is a dime a dozen. People write just as good songs, if not better songs than me.
Don't say that, Trevor.
People perform just as good, if not better than me.
Stop it.
It's just, talent is a dime a dozen. But the way you have to either figure out how to cut through the noise. And if you can figure out a way to make money or put money behind it, I think that's a challenge. Is like, musicians, they're not great businessmen and women. Like, I'm in real estate. So I've worked with a lot of people who borrow a chunk of money from somebody, put it to work, and then they give that person a return. So I think right now my plan is to kind of borrow money from somebody, borrow $5,000 from somebody. Or sorry, no. I think my current plan is maybe borrow $10,000 from somebody, buy onto a tour from somewhere between $2,000 to $3,000 or $2,000 to $5,000, and then take $3,000 and put it into merch, and then try to make it all back from the merch sales.
Dang.
That's the plan. Yeah. And then that investor, I would give them a return. Like, but people are going to have a problem with it because like this is what I find really interesting. If I got an investor or put my own money into my music and it started popping, people would be like, you didn't earn that. But if a record label put $100,000 behind my music, they'd be like, hey, good for you. That doesn't make any sense because it's like, and it depends on the record deal, of course. But if like private money, I keep all the masters. I keep the equity in my business. Record labels, some of these, people know what people are signing in record deals, some record deals.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. So I'm like, why wouldn't I just go get the private money?
I think people have a bad taste in their mouth from artists like Rebecca Black, where like,
I don't know who that is.
She did like the Friday song, like got
viral.
Yeah. And if I remember her story, it was, I could be botching it, but I think her dad had a little bit of an inside on like a producer in a studio, and he kind of put some money to make her. She might have just made a CD, and it was probably more for like a hobby, and it sort of blew up on the internet. And then I think she went on some tour, like very light tours after that, but it felt like, oh, daddy's money made all that happen. Sure. So I do think there's a line of like, people don't like that because it's like, oh, well, they're just making the music and the art versus like investing in someone who is good. It's like there's a difference of like making it from the money versus like, no, this is already like solid musicianship. And,
but yeah, I agree with that. But like, what's like, to me, either I take a bunch of money and invest in myself, or I have to give up certain things that I don't want to give up and have somebody else invest it into me. Like it just it's the purity thing. Yeah. It's like people are purists and people still, again, they think music is just like, it's like this sacred thing, this sacred cow. But what they don't realize is that music is just a business.
It can't be a business. It's a passion first.
No, I know, exactly. But it's just like anything that generates income, there's a business behind it.
Yep.
And I think it's a facade to believe that all these artists and your favorite artist made it because they were passionate and they loved it.
I think that's the sign of like the really good artists make themselves look like they're just doing it from a love of the music.
It's just like horse shit, dude.
But it is. It's all fabricated.
I bet you a bunch of people have bought onto tours, but they're not saying anything.
Absolutely.
This is what I think it is. Buying onto tours is equivalent to Marvel superheroes not being on steroids. Like everybody knows Chris Hemsworth is juicing, but they're not going to talk about it.
No.
That
body.
And they won't tell anybody. And it's the same. It's just like the same. It's the same logic behind it. And it's just like, oh, well, we need to protect the purity and the sacredness of. But I think in a lot of ways it makes sense. It's a good business move to make artists believe that their passion and their art is what made them get there.
Yeah.
Like, because then people are going to keep trying for it. If everybody knew it's like, oh, it's mostly just money.
Think
people
how
are
much
like,
money Sweetwater makes from people wanting to be bedroom musicians.
Absolutely.
Every year.
Absolutely.
I mean, they're like, you could be the next Taylor Swift if you just buy this recording setup for your
Now,
own.
it's like things are a little easier or more accessible now because there's like, you have an algorithm now that you could, if it's benevolent to you, you could pop.
It's
But
kind of like
like
a lottery at this point, though, too.
I mean, but now I mean
like-
the challenge with the algorithm now is like, oh, you're not just competing with other musicians, you're competing with a chef, you're competing with a dancer, you're competing with a dog with one eye. Like it's
We're fucked, yeah.
It's way more the accessibility to distribute things it's right here. You have an entire TV network.
Oh, yeah. You can almost
In
get a
this
full
device right
Adobe
here.
suite in your phone
Yep.
nowadays. Like, it's crazy.
insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to compete with every single person in the world because everybody wants to be a content creator now. You know, nobody wants to farm the field.
Dude, it is wild. I mean, my wife works with influencers at her job, and like they have to hire them.
Are they all diabetic?
Some of them are, but not all of them.
I feel like that's disingenuous.
It's just some of them are like the amount of money they give some of these people is wild.
Yeah.
And all they have to do is make a 30-second video and call it a day. I mean, it is, for some people, it's their dream job. I would think I would hate it, but for some people, it's like, yeah, be on my phone all day, make a couple like TikToks and get paid $3,000 a TikTok. Like, sign me up. You know, it's like,
absolutely.
So I think it's the same with music too. I'm sure everyone's just like, I can make it happen. You know, why not throw my stuff out there? So, yeah, it's an interesting age we're in with music because I know we've talked about this before, but it's like even like the tech behind music has changed how you know. It's like my uncle was in a band in the '80s, and he just would mail cassettes to radio stations. So he had to have that upfront investment of like he had to spend $200 on just cassettes. No one might have sold those at all or bought those at all, but he had to, you know, spend money on that just to actually get the music distributed. Which to me just seems so wild that like you couldn't just email people like a file to your album. Like I have to mail it to your radio.
Well, yeah, like booking shows, you used to have to like email or mail an EPK.
Yeah.
Or it wasn't even an EPK; it was just a PK. Like, yeah, it's weird that in today's world it is easier than ever to make it, but it's also simultaneously harder.
Way
than
more
ever to make it.
competition. Yeah.
Way more competition, you know. But it's crazy to me that I can just upload a song to DistroKid with a click of a button.
Yeah.
And I have to worry about like anything else. And it's out there to the world.
It's automatic nowadays. Yeah. It's almost too much power. Like everybody can just get on and, you know, make stuff. So think about how much crap is out on the internet too. You know?
Yeah.
So
well, I think that's like the other thing too. It's like, and this is probably where I'm a delusional, or I would just call it confident. Like, I don't think I'm a scrub, you know, who wrote Friday and then Daddy bankrolled it. Yeah. Like, I think I'm actually talented and like I can perform, you know, and I've been doing it for almost 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like I put out one song and then I'm like, oh, I forgot I'm a trust fund kid, so monetize, you know? Yeah. But so like I think in those scenarios, because I think my friend that I talked to, he said one of the people that he knew bought onto tours were just like dog shit. They just weren't good. But they just had a dad who had a ton of money.
Yeah. That's my fear with those stories. Yeah, it's like people who just have rich parents. You know, so I do think that's why people are against or see negatively.
Yeah,
like.
But it's like, I mean, like I don't have rich parents. I think I could go. Yeah. I have enough people who I think believe in me, who could have an extra 5-10K sitting around, and it's like, here you go, you know, and then I'm like, okay, I'll give you a return, hopefully. Yeah. If not, don't do it again. Just pocket it, dude, and just go to the clubs, or like I'd go to like the Philippines and like buy a wife, have a second family, you know. I love the Philippines, dude. When we went to the Philippines, I don't know, 3 years ago. It was so strange for me to go to the Philippines and see a bunch of old white dudes with young Filipino women. And I remember, because I saw it was everywhere. And I texted my friend who is Filipino, was born in the Philippines. I was just like, yo, dude, is this what I think it is? And he's like, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like men fly to the Philippines.
Damn.
And I don't know if I don't know necessarily what the situation is. Is like
Probably just getting lunch. Just a
probably
lunch
just
thing.
getting lunch. But like they're just I don't know if they get married or what, but it's like it's like best of both worlds, I guess. It's like this guy's lonely and can't get a woman. This woman needs money.
This desperate woman.
You know? So it's like I don't know. It was weird. It was so weird to see. And it was everywhere.
That feels icky.
It feels icky.
Like
but that's just marketing, you know? You're just marketing yourself to more people. Who cares if you have money, dude? It's just so weird to me that like if you have money, people like if you use money in a specific way, people are like upset with it.
Buying hookers in Philippines.
Buying hookers, you know, and Ron. But yeah, it is interesting. I would be very curious because I genuinely think I'm going to try to buy into a tour.
I support it.
I'm really curious to see what people's reactions are.
I don't know. I mean, I never thought about
in terms of like
buying
musicians.
onto it, but it would make sense for musicians that have proved themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think if you have put in the work and you can show that I can move tickets or that I put on successful shows, I think trying to buy into a tour seems like a reasonable step. Because
Mm-hmm.
like you said, if I can get that exposure and then up my whole, following or whatever after that, that's a win. So whether even if it's not
because
genuine
it's like
or not.
like that's I think if you can play a show to a full room, you're gonna get followers. They're gonna buy merch. You're probably gonna get more streams. You know, I think people really love it when they find a band that they never heard of.
Yeah,
and they're like awesome. You know,
I never heard of Hockey Dad until I saw.
Is that a real?
It's a real
Shut
band.
the fuck up. Did they open for Soccer Mommy?
No, they opened for Third Eye Blind.
Oh, okay, interesting.
But I went and saw Third Eye Blind and never heard of this band, Hockey Dad. But now they're in my rotation of music just from that one show.
Because I still think it's like
so it's big.
Like I've changed my tune with shows, but like playing shows matter, and because they can see there's an energy to the room. There's
you also
a magic
have a highly targeted audience. Like they're
there.
If
they're
you're on the
interested.
internet, you might have someone that's like, oh, I'm looking for something else. Where it's like if they're at the show, they're probably a music lover.
Yes.
And they're probably in that genre of what you're playing. So like you have shows like should be the way to pick up followers as far as especially if you're doing tours. So
yeah. So we'll see. I will keep people updated as to when if I actually buy onto a tour. And I will be unapologetic about it. Like I will tell people about it. I'm not gonna brag about it, but I don't it's when people fake stuff. You
just know.
I can't, and I still I cringe at the fact that I inflated streams years ago.
How dare you?
I cringe at the idea that I did that.
Yeah.
And it was all just for optics, just to look cool.
How dare you?
I should kill myself.
No, please.
Okay. The funny thing is one of these days this podcast is going to get popular, and they'll go back into the catalog. They'll be like, "Yikes!"
Yeah, someone's going to find this episode.
Stuff. Yeah, I'll get my big break on SNL, and then they'll find he said "ching chong bing bong" and smiled.
You can still take these down.
It is interesting. It's podcasting is so much fun. I genuinely love doing this. To make money off of it sounds crazy. I just couldn't imagine you and I just sitting in a room making money.
It's never going to happen.
Is it probable? No.
Possible.
But I mean, really, like if you want a career or something, like my whole plan is to put a bunch of content on YouTube, and then hopefully one day a gatekeeper sends me flowers, and then all of a sudden, like, oh, now you have thousands of hours of content to consume from this new person that you just found. You know, that's the hope. That's the plan. But yeah, podcasting seems so stupid. Like, you have to really love it to do it. Like, if you don't, it just... Well, I mean, the data, I think it's like most podcasts last 3 episodes.
I was going to say, like, I remember seeing something about that too. It's like, if you are past 10 episodes, you're already like in one of the top percents of like longevity.
Yeah, if I remember,
Something
it was
like
like 90% of podcasts don't make it past 3 episodes. And then of the 10% that make it, 90% of those don't make it past episode 20.
20 episodes?
Mm-hmm. So we're already there, dude. Woo! I think we're... I don't even know, because I missed a lot.
Oh, we got like...
Yikes.
50, 100? 100?
30?
Oh, 30 is it?
If we did one a week?
I thought we'd been
missed
doing...
a couple.
Sometimes we do 2, though. 2 in a week.
Well, we do it 2 in a day.
You've been doing it for a year. You release them.
It's probably about 30-ish,
okay.
because like I missed like pretty much all January.
You tell
February.
Us, listener, whatever it says above our head.
You tell me, dude. Your podcast is doing better than mine.
Shh, please.
You got like a few hundred downloads, right?
We have 1,000 total downloads.
Yeah,
across all episodes.
That's way more than.
We're at episode 25. 25?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, then maybe I
have way more. Yeah, there's no way.
No, you get.
Yes.
You've only done one a week.
Sometimes we do. Well, we release one a week. Yeah, since October. So, yeah.
No.
Yes.
Okay, it might be more than that. Maybe I'm at like 40.
You're probably way. Yeah.
Because I've pretty much done one a week except for January and February. Don't podcast, kids. Like, it's not worth it.
It rots your brain. Look
it's
at
not
us.
worth it, and someone's going to find something you said a long time ago and be like, I'm mad. Are you counting?
14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. 25. Yep.
You're at 25? Mm-hmm. Oh, I thought you were counting mine.
That's since November.
Oh, okay. I wanted to end on this because I thought this was interesting. So, I am a huge fan of Lewis Capaldi. He's a great singer, and he's funny. He's so funny. He doesn't take it seriously, and he's chubby. I love, like, talented, chubby people who don't take things seriously.
Sounds familiar.
But I read an article where he has Tourette's, and he might be, like, done touring.
Wow.
Because his Tourette's like overtakes him. I don't know, like a demon possession or whatever. I mean, which sucks, you know. He looks like he has Tourette's. Like if we had like, you know, if he's in a lineup of people and like which one has Tourette's, I'm gonna be like that one right there, dude. Dude, I love Lewis Capaldi, but Lewis Capaldi looks like an undercooked pancake, dude. Like 100%.
He looks like Ed Sheeran if you like flattened him out.
Yeah, or like if Ed Sheeran like melted. Like that's what Lewis Capaldi looks like. But I didn't know because I think Billie Eilish has Tourette's too. What is even Tourette's? It's just like you just yell. Like the only thing I remember about Tourette's was like
it's
watching
a horrible disease.
Watching is it?
Oh, debilitating.
Is it?
I don't know. I think so.
The only thing I remember. Look it up. Look up what Tourette's is. The only thing I remember about Tourette's is early YouTube days of like the news anchor or weatherman who has Tourette's.
I was thinking of the guy at home that has Tourette's. I can't remember.
Yeah,
the toothpaste.
It's just like Tourette's is basically like you just yell things, right?
By definition, a nervous system disorder involving repetitive movements or unwanted sounds.
Okay.
So that's the general.
So it's
you
like
know.
he's fine, He just, he
Ain't that
gets
bad?
he gets a little every once in a while, But yeah, dude, I mean, it must be bad if he can't perform like live, because I remember watching.
Probably.
I remember watching a yeah. What a dumb sense. Yeah, if you jump higher, you're better at basketball. If he, man, that was a really dumb sentence. I can't even.
I was even trying to roast
I
him.
know. I'm like, oh yeah, what, you fucking idiot.
I don't think he's playing. Tom Brady retired because I think he's done with football.
Yeah, I think so. But no, I think, I can't. I mean, I don't know. I don't have Tourette's, so it's just like everyone knows your songs, so just step away from the mic, Tourette it out, and then I don't know. They're singing your songs. They're loving it, dude. They love it when you step away from the mic and you can just sing,
I don't think Tourette it out is just an option in his playbook. I'm like,
I mean,
I feel it coming.
It could. I don't know, man.
I think the whole point of
Tourette it
Tourette's
out,
is you
dude.
don't know it's coming.
I'm gonna make a shirt with Lewis Capaldi's face and it says Tourette it out. Oh man, that's funny, dude.
God. Whew.
Yeah, that's a bummer, man. Tourette sucks, I guess. Cause I think Billie Eilish has it too.
Oh really?
I think so.
Dang. Wow.
Maybe they could Tourette it out together. They should do the Tourette it out tour. Billie Eilish.
The Tourette tour at Gillette Stadium.
That'd be amazing, dude.
Tourette's at Gillette's.
Just and then get that weatherman in there just to do the weather. Like, fuck!
Oh my God.
Oh, man.
There goes our Special Olympics sponsorship.
Yeah, I know, dude. I can't. Oh, man. No more macaroni necklaces.
End this now.
All right, dude. Thanks for listening. Dude, if you stuck it through this, well done. I don't think it's going to get any worse than that. So thanks for listening. Oh, man, that made me laugh. I enjoyed that last bit. That was fun.
I can see the gears still turning.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. Is there a Tourette's hotline or something? You just call and just...
Yeah, it's just...
Thanks for listening, everybody. I appreciate it. This is fun for me. I hope it's fun for you. I'll see you soon, Joe Rogan.